I'm going to begin by introducing Teddy. Teddy's been involved in the business of filmmaking for the last 2 decades. He's done various sorts of things, including being an assistant director, production manager, actor, as well as done his scripts. He directed his debut movie in 1991, which was Alien Wife, which achieved great critical and commercial success. And by his third movie, 20-something, in 1994, he was acclaimed as a leading director, and that's when he directed Hong Kong Youngster in a fairly, with featured, by and large, an unknown cast. He followed this in 1997 with Downtown Torpedoes, which won him the Best Editing at the 17th Hong Kong Film Awards. And then in 1999, with Purple Storm, he swept the 19th Hong Kong Film Awards with Best Cinematography, Editing, Action, Choreography, Costume Design, and Sound Effects. In 2001, he directed The Accidental Spy, which was a great Jackie Chan hit. And in 2002, he founded Jinchuan Pictures to focus on bringing together the best of filmmaking talents in the Chinese community and producing quality Asian, Pan-Asian films for an international audience. In 2002, he produced 20-something Taipei and the romantic comedy Hidden Track in 2003. His latest work, which hit the screen just 2 days ago in Singapore, starring Andy Lau, is Wait Till You're Older, and judging by the box office stakes across Asia, has been a great success, taking in almost 2 million in the first weekend, or what was the figure? Just in Hong Kong alone, it took in 4 million in the first 3 days. So, Teddy, great to have you here for the Asian Festival of First Films for the selection process. He's come all the way. He's sort of flown out at the back, releasing this film. He's done a whole lot of press stuff across and has come to join us. Pan Nalin, French director of Indian origin. Pan studied at India's prestigious design school, the National Institute of Design, where he did a whole lot of animations and short films. He then traveled across India to learn about himself and his roots. He joined a film production company as a production runner, and within months he was offered to direct commercials and corporate films. In a year's time, Nalin started Ideas Unlimited, a film production company, which rose to become one of the best. However, I don't think Bombay could quite hold on to its talent, so he decided to flee the city and flee Bollywood's influence, and he ran away, I think, to France. And there he made a whole series of documentaries for Canal Plus, BBC, Discovery, National Geographic, and others. His feature-length documentary, Ayurveda, Art of Being, which was released in 2001, was one of the first films to actually find main screen viewing, well before, 9/11? Well before 9/11. So actually, Ayurveda was the first one to be released in mainline theaters across Europe. And it's still being seen, it's still being shown so many years later in mainline theaters. And in that he travels over 15,000 kilometers across stunning landscape, and he shoots in India, Greece, and of course the USA. His other works include a wide range of short fiction and experimental films, among them Khajuraho, which he did in 1992, which was a first short fiction. Doubt in 1994, Eiffel Tower Trilogy in 1995, and his first fiction feature film in 2001, starring Christy Chung, was hailed as a tremendous film wherever it was shown across festivals, across mainline theaters, and really he's known as the Samsara Man. His latest film, which we'll hear a little about when we're talking to him, is in post-production as we speak. He's in fact run away, having told his producers that he's actually in the process of dubbing and doing his soundtrack, but then we kidnapped him and we brought him here to Hong Kong or to Singapore for this particular event, and he started pre-production for his third film, which is in Thailand and Cambodia, which he'll be researching. So thank you both for being here. It's a great pleasure, very much. And as you both are here exploring other people's first films, a lot of what I'm going to ask you really is about your tryst with destiny in terms of your first film. Terry, your first film was 1999, 1991. What made you choose that particular film? Was it that somebody said, "Can you make this film?" Or did you wake up one day and did you say, "Oh, this is the film I want to make"?
I was paid by a French company. They had a contract with Golden Harvest at the time. They're going to make 4 films at the time, but they can't make it. The timing is only for let them have 2 years to make 4 films. So they invite me to make one, to become one of the directors, the first newcomer directors at the time.
Have they heard of your work before that? Or?
Well, we've been working together as colleagues and in RTV since I was 17, about 30 years ago. So we work together.
So in other words, you got your first film on a platter, come make it. No sweat, no pain.
Yeah.
And Nalin Samsara, that was your first sort of fiction. And how difficult was that to get off?
Well, I haven't made that many films, like 10, but for me, it was very, very tough. And Samsara was very recently, and it took nearly 6 years to find finance. There were several reasons, because the film I wanted to shoot is in the Indian Himalayas in Ladakh, which is totally non-friendly production place. There is no infrastructure, and we were shooting in some location between 12 to 16,000 feet above sea level. There's no hotels and everything, and I technically didn't want to compromise, because very often when you shoot first movie, I don't know if you had the same experience, but all the technical things that, okay, you can't shoot CinemaScope, no Dolby Digital, why don't you take a small camera and shoot it in an apartment, So suddenly, with the theme I wanted to do and the film I wanted to make, there was a clash of what should be the first film. And industry all around the world, they have their own ideas of what should be a first film, and which is very often small budget, using your family, shoot a movie, which is I'm not against, but I didn't want that to such an extent that I went to project to Americans, and I was almost going to do it in English with some known star. But the script, I knew that it would be a disaster if I shoot it there, because it did not have any relation as such. I don't know if you have seen Samsara, you would know, because it's in a remote part of India, story of a Buddhist monk, and it just didn't do it. So it took a long time, and its first film, I think, is always very hard. I mean, it's to find money and to make it.
But was it a film that you had worked on for many years before you realized it? Or?
Yes, I mean, I did travel. I started writing a lot as I used to travel, so I had like series of treatment. I like to tell stories, so I started writing stories, and I realized that I would do Samsara first, but maybe that was a wrong choice, maybe because it took a very long time. And the script was written, and as I traveled looking for finance, it did change, it kept on evolving and getting better. But it is something I really wanted to do, because it was something very tough and something big, and big in the sense that, it was managing a very, very difficult production for a first film. And that was very hard to convince producers that they would give me money. The producers the money mainly came from Germany, Italy, and France. And for them to think of this place called Ladakh between China and India was very, very difficult. And nobody would insure, no insurance. The crew, cast, no.
Wow.